Hi guys, today we are reading the story A Shady Plot by Elsie Brown. It is a ghost story and we are going to hear it in stages. It is found in English literature, textbook in English for grade 10 CBSE. Let's begin, shall we?
So I sat down to write a ghost story. Jenkins was responsible. "Hallock," he had said to me, "give us another on the supernatural this time. Something to give 'em the horrors. That's what the public wants. And your ghosts are live propositions." Well, I was in no position to contradict Jenkins, for as yet his magazine had been the only one to print my stuff. So I had said, precisely, in the deepest voice I was capable of, and had gone out. I had no idea, but at that time it did not worry me at all. You see, I had often been like that before, and in the end, things had always come my way. I didn't in the least know how or why. It had all been rather mysterious. You understand, I didn't specialize in ghost stories, but more or less they seemed to specialize in me. A ghost story had been the first fiction I had written. Curious how that idea for a plot had come to me out of nowhere after I had chased inspiration in vain for months. Even now, whenever Jenkins wanted a ghost, he called on me, and I had never found it healthy to contradict Jenkins. Jenkins always seemed to have an uncanny knowledge as to when the landlord or the grocer was pestering me, and he dunned me for a ghost. And somehow I had always been able to dig one up for him, so I had begun to get a bit cocky as to my ability. So I went home and sat down before my desk and sucked at the end of my pencil and waited. But nothing happened. Pretty soon, my mind began to wander off on other things, decidedly unghostly and material things, such as my wife's shopping and how on earth I was going to cure her of her alarming tendency to take every new fad that came along and work it to death. But I realized that would never get me any place, so I went back to staring at the ceiling. "This writing business is delightful, isn't it?" I said sarcastically at last, out loud too. You see, I had reached the stage of imbecility when I was talking to myself. "Yes," said a voice at the other end of the room, "I should say it is." I admit I jumped. Then I looked around. It was twilight by this time, and I had forgotten to turn on the lamp. The other end of the room was full of shadows and furniture. I sat staring at it and presently noticed something just taking shape. It was exactly like watching one of these moving picture cartoons being put together. First an arm came out, then a bit of sleeve of a stiff white shirtwaist, then a leg and a plaid skirt, until at last there she was complete. Whoever she was. She was long and angular, with enormous fishy eyes behind big bone-rimmed spectacles, and her hair in a tight wad at the back of her head. Yes, I seemed able to see right through her head. And a jaw. Well, it looked so solid that for the moment I began to doubt my very own senses and believe she was real after all. She came over and stood in front of me and glared. Yes, positively glared down at me, although, to my knowledge, I had never laid eyes on the woman before, to say nothing of giving her cause to look at me like that. I sat still, feeling pretty helpless, I can tell you, and at last she barked. "What are you gaping at?" I swallowed, though I hadn't been chewing anything. "Nothing," I said. "Absolutely nothing, my dear lady. I was merely waiting for you to tell me why you had come. And excuse me, but do you always come in sections like this? I should think your parts might get mixed up sometimes." "Didn't you send for me?" she crisped. Imagine how I felt at that. "Why, no, I don't seem to remember." "Look here, Haven't you been calling on heaven and earth all afternoon to help you write a story? I nodded, and then a possible explanation occurred to me, and my spine got cold. Suppose this was the ghost of a stenographer applying for a job. I had had an advertisement in the paper recently. I opened my mouth to explain that the position was filled, and permanently so, but she stopped me. And when I got back to the office from my last case and was ready for you, didn't you switch off to something else and sit there driveling so I couldn't attract your attention until just now? I'm very sorry, really. Well, you needn't be, because I just came to tell you to stop bothering us for assistance. You are not going to get it. We are going on strike. What? You don't have to yell at me. I didn't mean to yell, I said humbly, but I'm afraid I didn't quite understand you. You said you were going on strike. Don't you know what a strike is? Not another plot do you get from us. I stared at her and wet my lips. Is that where they've been coming from? Of course. Where else?
And ta-da! Time is up. We will be continuing this story in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video for receiving more of this story and others. Goodbye.